for those out there who are thinking, firstly, how's it different from affirmations? You mentioned 4 exercises there, so I'd love to hear about that. But how's it different from affirmations first?
Well, the thing is, people come in with their particular problems and their approach to life. So now we all know that affirmations work, but it's not in a researched way. So I've actually done the study to say that if you target the irrational, I'll call them irrational thoughts, if you target those thoughts and feelings, then you will come to the opposite of that. So I challenge the clients to actually, with me, to make up some statement that actually targets their thoughts and feelings. So it becomes a unique thing. And then because I'm a scientist practitioner, I'm rating all the time. How are you? Perhaps this, I don't know what the statement might be, but they might say, I'm functioning well or something. And I say, okay, let's rate that. How are you functioning at the moment? And they might say, 1 out of 10 or 0 out of 10. And I say, great, we're going to put that down because that's going to be our target, and our goal is to get you to move from here to here, so that and they come up with huge lists of negative emotions and how they're feeling and what's wrong with their lives, and then I step them over to how they would like to be, and that's what we train on. So it's that's the basis of that rewiring, is to move them from one place to the next place in the shortest possible time.
Awesome. And so for someone listening at home, is there a way that someone can do it by themselves, or does it need to be done with a practitioner?
Well, I think when you do something by yourself, it kind of wanes after a while. And with the work that I give the clients, it's difficult to do, and you need someone who is an encourager, who's going to be the scientist practitioner, if you like, with the knowledge of where they're going, how to get there. And because, I know, well, maybe it's just me, but I know I will give up on something, fairly soon. I'll try it and go, oh, yeah, I seem to feel better. But then, you really need that person who's doing that science practice to say, okay, you've come this far. Let's look now at this or that or the other. And of course, there's always time in the session to talk about the current issues as well, and apply them back to the rewiring that they're doing, so that they're just, traveling with you, with the therapist. And I found that to be amazing. And as I say, those people who've done their 50 times a day, or how many they have to do, then they just move forward so quickly. I had a doctor talk to me about 2 days ago, and he said, I just want to say, he said, I've got permission to say this from my patient, but she said she's been working with you and her life is so different. She's actually a happy, functioning person. And it's really good to get that feedback. I know it's happening because I see it when they come back in, but you never see the finished product because they're so good by then, they don't want to come back and pay you money to tell them they're good.
That's a quality problem, right?
Yeah, it is.
So for me, I've recently realized the power of the mind. I mean, recently in the sense of I've relearned that because growing up, I did lots of meditation and lots of like Joe Dispenza, manifestation, those kind of things. And I understand that it's probably very different, but long story short, I did that for so long and I kind of started doubt it a bit, like I started reading a lot of like personal development books and things like affirmations and then incantations, saying what you want with emotion, like Tony Robbins style, like running in the park, screaming loud, I am the greatest, I am the greatest, so I just kind of, I let go of that and I'm like, oh, I don't know if I want to follow that way of thinking, quote unquote. And fast forward to about a year and a half ago, actually longer than that, it was about 3 years ago, I started to experience a lot of health issues. And, when it started happening, I didn't know what it was. I thought it was, I started having really bad sleep maintenance insomnia. And anyone who listens to this podcast will know this based on me sharing this before. I thought it was a sleep thing, and I need to so why am I not sleeping for? What are the mechanisms behind that? What are the, what am I doing before bed? What's my sleep hygiene? I started seeing sleep psychologists. I was having a few hours sleep each night. And so long story short, what I'm getting to with this is come to where I am now. A lot of what I was experiencing was to do with my gut health. I did a gut test, and I have leaky gut and a whole bunch of other things like my mucus lining was damaged, my villi was inflamed, my gut bacteria was bad. So long story short, I realized all these things, and then I came across this thing a few days ago, this ad on Instagram, on Meta, and it was talking about IBS and how hypnotherapy can help IBS.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so for me, and it's one thing I love about science, right, is that no matter how biased you are towards a certain science, if you truly follow science, you'll find that certain things are wrong when it pertains to the clinical side of stuff. And so now I started looking at the research. I'm like, all this time I've been telling myself throughout this process of this health journey I've gone through since about 3 years ago that it's all a technical solution, meaning specifically it's like I've changed my foods, or I have to see sunrise, and like everything was a physical thing.
Yes.
Like I'm a physical, and obviously there's physical when it comes to the mind. That's all this hypnotherapy thing. I'm like, and all these thoughts came back when I used to believe that. And so then I started doing it.
Yeah.
And I'd been doing some work with a naturopath and / nutritionist for a while now. Her name's Brooke. She's great. And we've been healing my gut, like doing all the prebiotics, doing, all those things. It eventually you hit a wall, which is we've done everything we can with your physical health. But Luke, like you're too much stress in your life and this and that. I kind of hit a wall with that. So I'm like, what am I going to do now? So I started doing this hypnotherapy, and I'm sitting there in meditation, and one of the meditations is you like imagine like a river in your GI tract, and like it goes through your river, like it's nourishing your river. And the one I did last night was you hold your hands on there and you feel the warmth from your hands, and it like you can feel it healing your gut. And I'm like, this is so like feels so non-scientific, but I did it. And after I did it, it's been 4 nights now I've done this. Yeah. My sleep has gotten better each night. Yeah. My gut health has improved. And I had a really bad inflammation from it last week of having tofu. It was really weird. But what I'm trying to say, it's so fascinating how we believe, because it's almost societal in a way. We start to only believe what we can physically see, right? And for me, like that, letting go of that, it's all physical, and there's a technical solution that's in the physical world, and really just like doing that hypnotherapy and feeling the difference. I'm like, wow, the power of the mind exists.